Live from Valenzuela City, your Tito Tony.
Good morning, grade 8. Welcome to our live streaming for English 8. I am your Tito Tony. Whatever the situations are, education must continue. Our topic for today is cohesive devices. We are taught that to be understood, our sentences should be complete. It should have a clear subject and a predicate. It should have a complete thought. And in writing, it should begin with a capital letter and ends with a proper punctuation mark. Well, that is true. But there are many instances that we are better understood if we add information in our sentences, especially if it is necessary and if it will make our thoughts easy to follow. As a matter of fact, learning language is exciting and never boring. The more we practice using the English language, the more we sound smarter. Our conversations with other people would be better. Now, I asked randomly selected students in the neighborhood to read two sets of paragraphs and tell me which one is better understood by them. The set A is simplified sentences and set B contains cohesive devices. Let us watch this video.
One of my favorite hobbies is traveling. I decided to get a job that paid me to travel because I just couldn't afford my hobby. I got a job for a company called Off-Road where I led bicycle trips. I got to spend 2 months living and working in France, wine country. I went to the south and stood on the red carpet where they hold the Cannes Film Festival. Riding bikes and traveling around France all summer was great. The job was too much work and not enough play. While it fed my traveling addiction, I knew the job wasn't for me. Set B. One of my favorite hobbies is traveling. Therefore, I decided to get a job that paid me to travel because I just couldn't afford my hobby. I worked for a company called Off-Road where I led bicycle trips. I got to spend 2 months living and working in France, wine country. In addition, I went to the south and stood on the red carpet where they hold the Cannes Film Festival. Riding bikes and traveling around France all summer was great. However, the job was too much work and not enough play. Thus, when it fed my traveling addiction, I knew that job wasn't for me. Sa tingin ko po, mas mainam pong pakinggan po yung set B kasi po meron pong mga connectors doon at mas na-emphasize po yung sequence o yung mga sequence ng pangyayari. Doon po kasi sa set A, medyo po magulo po, medyo merong confusion po doon sa mga sentences. Ayun po.
Sa tingin ko po, mas maganda po pakinggan yung set B dahil madami po siyang words na masarap po pakinggan tapos di po magulo. Pero po sa set A, magulo po siya, hindi po siya naintindihan. Ayun lang po.
Sa tingin ko po, mas maganda po yung set B kasi po mas madali po siyang basahin, mas madali po siya maintindihan. Tapos po, mas masarap po siya sa tenga pakinggan. Tapos po, it's appropriate po.
Honestly for me, mas understandable yung set B kaysa sa set A. Kasi yung set A, patigil-tigil siya, tas iba-iba yung form ng sentence niya. Kaya mas madaling pakinggan yung set B para sa akin.
Sa tingin ko po, mas madali pong maunawaan yung set B. Kasi po may paliwanag po, tsaka madali po siyang intindihin kaysa po sa set A. Kasi po yung set A masyado pong mahabang sentence na mahirap po intindihin.
Set B po kasi po madali po siyang intindihan kasi po meron po siyang mga parang palatandaan po kaysa po sa set B mahirap intindihin.
From the video, we can observe that the students better understood the set B, which contains some of cohesive devices. This means that we as language learners need to focus on learning and practicing this technique. But how about the cohesive devices? Now, let us learn more about them today. Hashtag cohesive device. For our most essential learning competency, use appropriate cohesive devices in composing informative speech. While these are our specific objectives or our goals for today. First, determine the meaning and importance of cohesive devices. And secondly, identify cohesive devices and be able to use it in sentences and paragraphs. Cohesive devices are words and phrases that connect ideas. They also clarify the relationship among ideas in the sentences. And without cohesive devices, a paragraph or an essay will just be a group of unrelated sentences that will be confusing or may be difficult to understand. They also help the reader to identify a change in the meaning of sentences or paragraphs through. First, we have, under the function of cohesive devices, we have comparison. Second, addition. We also have it functioning as exemplification, sequencing, and contrast. It is also very important for us to be familiar with these example words. That is why I want you to look at these examples, familiarize, and use them in your conversations. Under the function of comparison, we have the words. Take note of this. We have the words also, equally, similarly, likewise, compare with, and more. Functioning as addition, we have the words and, also, furthermore, moreover, and other words. Functioning as exemplification, we have the words or the phrases, for example, for instance, to illustrate, such as, namely, and more. Functioning as sequencing, we have first, second, third, or it could be the words next, then, after, lastly, and finally. Functioning as contrast, we have the phrases in contrast, instead, on the contrary, but, rather, and many more. Now, people, let us have these reading clips as our examples. Example number 1A. And I will read it to you. I like bananas. I like apples. Bananas are sweet. Apples are sweet. My sister doesn't like bananas. My sister doesn't like apples. My sister likes strawberries. Our parents usually take us to Fresh Mart. We buy our favorite fruits in Fresh Mart. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have example 1B. I like bananas and apples because they are sweet. My sister doesn't like them, but she likes strawberries. Our parents usually take us to Fresh Mart where we buy our favorite fruits. People, in the example 1b, you notice that the sentences from example 1a are being joined using words that function as cohesive device, thus making the reading clearer to understand than the example 1a. Now, the words being used are, we have first the word "and," which we use as device for addition. Next, we have the word "they," which is used as reference for bananas and apples. Next, we have the word "then." This is used as reference for bananas and apples as well. We have the word "but." This is used as device for contrasting. And we also have the word "were" as reference for Fresh Mart. Now, we have example number 2, or example number 2, letter A. Again, I will read it to you. One of the main drawbacks of driving a car is the amount of pollution it causes. The fumes from the car exhaust contain chemicals which pollute the atmosphere. People who live in places with many cars like cities may suffer from respiratory-related illnesses. Air pollution has a negative impact on a global scale. The polar ice caps are melting, to which air pollution contributes. And this time, I want to focus on the relationship of combined sentences as cohesive devices are being used. This is example number 2, letter B. Are you ready? Here it goes. One of the main drawbacks of driving a car is the amount of pollution it causes. This is because the fumes from the car exhaust contain chemicals which pollute the atmosphere. As a result, people who live in places with many cars like cities may suffer from respiratory-related illnesses. Furthermore, air pollution has a negative impact on the global scale. To illustrate, the polar caps are melting as a consequence of global warming, to which air pollution contributes. Okay, so the words or phrases being used are, first, this is because. This phrase shows relationship as cause and effect, which explains that pollution from the emission of the car contains chemicals which pollute the atmosphere. Second, we have the phrase as a result. This phrase is another cause and effect, justifying that chemicals and pollutions cause respiratory illnesses, which of course results from the car emission. Next, we have the word furthermore. This word shows additional information that is caused by pollution. And then we have the words to illustrate. This word exemplifies by giving a picture of other effects of pollution. Next, we also have the phrase as a consequence of. This phrase shows that ice cap melting as a result of global warming, which is also an effect of pollution. This time, let us have some exercises. using, of course, paper and pen. And you have to open yung modules on week 5, activity card practice number 1. List down the cohesive devices used in this paragraph. I will read it for you. I personally believe that libraries are among humanity's most important institutions for several reasons. Firstly, most of humanity's collective knowledge is stored in the library. Secondly, libraries protect and preserve this knowledge. They also classify or group the materials into logical and easily available divisions. Furthermore, libraries make materials available to everyone and even provide librarians to help us find what we need. Finally, libraries are linked to the past and our grief to the future. And in conclusion, libraries are important institutions for humanity. You have 60 seconds to work on that, and your time starts now. For number 1, we have the phrase, I personally believe. This phrase is also a cohesive device that is used as a persuasion. If you included this, you are correct. Number 2, we have the word firstly. This word shows sequence. It means there is no other or more information coming next. Number 3, we have the word secondly. This one shows sequence. It means a following information from the first one signifies that there is next. Number 4, we have the phrase they also. This one is an additional information and a comparison from the previous information. The word they is also a reference for the word libraries. Number 5, we have the word furthermore. Furthermore is an additional information aside from the previously mentioned. Number 6, we have the word finally. This word concludes that there is nothing more information that will proceed. And number 7, we have the phrase in conclusion. This one concludes that the statement that library is one of the most important institutions in humanity. Now, this is the best part. I know you are waiting for this. We have bonus. Now, people, if you included the word and in your answers, then that is correct or that is a consideration because the word "and" shows additions of information from the sentence. It is very important to avoid repetitious sentences. Example, instead of saying, Ben went to the market, Ben bought bananas, Ben bought strawberries, Ben went home, why not use this one rather? Ben went to the market, he bought bananas and strawberries, and then went home. Now, take a look at your scores. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got more than 5 correct answers, go to react button and press the hard react. Alright? And if you've got 3 or 4 correct answers, key in the like button. I guess we are now clear on the importance and functions of cohesive devices. Always remember to make your conversations or your paragraphs and essays clearer and easier to understand. Because cohesion in writing sentences or paragraphs makes you a better communicator and a skilled writer. Familiarize other cohesive devices and their uses. Be wiser. Now this time we move to practice number 2. Instruction is combine the sentences using correct cohesive devices, and your choices are, we have the word but, and so, or therefore. We also have even though or although, and we have the word because. Now, example is that for you. It says here, my brother hates playing badminton. My sister likes playing badminton. The answer is, to combine the two sentences, it should be, my brother hates playing badminton, but my sister likes playing it. You got it? Okay. So we have number 1. My uncle will visit us next week. He will bring a basket of apples. How would you join the two sentences together? Number 2. Her cat died yesterday. She is sad now. 3. The children keep playing football. Their parents do not allow them. Number 4. Henry's rabbits look happy. Henry takes care of the rabbit well. Number 5. I could not go out last night. I was too busy. People, you have 2 minutes to take this, and your time starts now. And you have to focus with the cohesive devices being used. First, my uncle will visit us next week and he will bring a basket of apples. Her cat died yesterday. She is sad now. Her cat died yesterday, so she is sad now. Number 3. The children keep playing football although their parents do not allow them. Number 4. Henry's rabbits look happy because Henry takes care of them well. Number 5. I could not go out last night because I was too busy. Now people, if you've got more than 5 correct answers, go to the react button and press the hard react. And if you've got 3 or 4 more correct answers, key in the like button. Alright, so people, here we go. At the concluding part, the question and answer part, the most exciting one. Because in this portion, I am going to answer your queries. So you better ask in your question and send here in our live streaming so I could try my best to clarify what you want me to clarify. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to key in your questions and 2 minutes for me to answer. And our time starts now. Okay, so people, we have a question. Question number 1 from Sitero Francisco Memorial National High School. The question is, do we need to always use cohesive devices and join all our sentences together? The answer is not at all. We use cohesive devices for as long as it is necessary. But yes, you need to use cohesive devices as long as it will make your paragraphs clearer, organized, and easier to understand. And remember, people, cohesive device function or main objective is to make language flow smoothly and conversations improve. We have question number 2 from Vicente Trinidad National High School. The question is fun boys. F, fun boys. F for the word for, A for the word N for the word north, B for the word but, O for the word or, Y for the word yet, and S for the word so. Alright, so fun boys are actually types of conjunctions and are known to join words or join words with phrases or phrases with sentences and even sentences together. Grammatically speaking, they are called conjunction as they are parts of what we call as parts of speech. But they also function as cohesive device. Okay. So we are waiting for question number 3. Alright. Question number 3, please. Okay, commercial. I would like to thank first all my group teachers or co-teachers for live streaming grade 8, especially our moderator. Our moderator, of course, is the one who is seeking for questions that could be answered here, and she is the one who will put it in our board. Alright? So here we go. Dalandanan National High School question. From what I read, there are some other examples of cohesive device. Are we going to discuss them as well? And if so, when? Alright, this is a little hard question. The answer is yes. There are many cohesive devices that are not yet mentioned from our lesson today. Okay? And yes, you are going to study them as well, but not today, later. FYI, for your information, people, our learning competency in the K-12 curriculum is spiral or spiraling. Meaning, the lessons we are studying are gradually progressing. From what we have learned today and into what we should learn the next time. It's like learning from the basics to the complex one, and as long as we continue to learn. Okay, question number 4. Wow. From Big 9 National High School. The question is, how could we know that our paragraphs are good? Okay, the answer is first, this is actually my own solution. Probably it works with other people, probably not with you, but you have to try it. First, to make your paragraphs good, draw an outline. Draw an outline to organize your ideas. From the bigger ideas, break it down to the smallest but important one. And then, you could also consider cohesion by using cohesive device, which is our topic today. And also, this technique might help as well. Consider trying reading and pondering your sentences. If it doesn't sound good, then there might be something wrong. Just keep learning and just keep on practicing. Alright, so we have the last question from Lawang Bato National High School. The question is, sometimes words and sometimes phrase. What do we really have for cohesive devices? Words or phrase? Alright? The answer for that is, when you say word, it is actually just a single word per se. One word. And when you say phrase, it is actually a group of words. Group of words that means something. But whether be it a word or a phrase, always remember this. Whether be it a word or a phrase, it doesn't matter. What matters most is their function. Always remember, cohesive devices function as connector or transition that make our sentence or our paragraphs easier to understand. Alright, so we are done with at least 5 questions. And people, my friends, amigos, for other activities, please refer on the items from your modules and continue learning. Anyway, your subject teachers or your follow-up discussion teachers will further help you by answering your queries. Do not hesitate to ask. That is the key. If you don't know something, do not hesitate to ask. Alright, so we have answered some in our modules, but in your module activity 3 of lesson 5 is prepared for you. You will be the one to answer it, and if you want to seek help, you better ask your follow-up teachers. Okay, so thank you for having me today, amigos. Okay, it's been a happy day of learning English. I feel so flattered that I was able to make this one a successful one. I would like to thank my teammates and of course you, my viewers. I want to say happy learning day to all of you. This is your Tito Tony saying, anuman ang sitwasyon, tuloy ang edukasyon. Dahil dito sa Valenzuela, may disiplina. See you next time.